Okay, you're looking at the cover for the movie Contagion, and the motto, the motto is "Nothing spreads like fear." Nothing spreads like fear. Now I'm going to leave up the cover of the movie, and in the background is my computer, and you're going to hear the voice of a lecturer, and the lecturer is lecturing at a college in England, and so he's got a lot of credibility and so forth, but he's going to talk about fear.
And if they recover, then it's really thanks to Mother Nature's benevolence rather than anything as doctors we were able to do. Now this disease punched well above its weight in terms of its ability to terrify people. And I've called the book Paralysed with Fear, and the reason for that was not accidental. When polio first arrived in America, which it did at the beginning of the very end of the 19th century, it changed its nature. And previously it was a rather rare sporadic disease that broke out and might cause paralysis in a handful of children in one.
Notice how he said it changed its nature. That's one thing they keep doing in virus hoaxing, is they mutate, they emerge, they go in, they're not alive, but they go into the body and they get hold of cells and they make proteins, and then that produces a whole bunch of other possible potential viruses, and so it's just all sort of nonsense is tied together.
But when it moved into the east coast of America in the summer of 1916, it became a complete nightmare.
Okay, virus hoaxing will really start in the early phases just about 1900. The major hoaxes will start to emerge years later. 1916, New York City, supposedly polio. Then 1918, the Spanish influenza. It's going to strike the whole world and kill as much as 100 million people. And the estimates get higher and higher as the hoaxers want to add to it.
And this is a scene from New York City. This is a child who's woken up paralyzed, and his panic-stricken parents are loading him into the back of a makeshift ambulance. He's going to be carted off to hospital. When this began to happen, the number of cases and the body count, if you like, went up very dramatically. And during that outbreak, there was something like 25,000 cases of paralytic polio, and 6,000 of those people died.
Okay, there you are. 25,000, 2 and 5 is 7. 6,000 dying, that's 6. 6 into 7. Okay, or you get your 13. You can look at the numbers, you can look at the words, but what you need to know is you're being hoaxed and lied to. It's that simple.
The public health authorities reacted in the way that they thought best. So they threw at this outbreak. They knew it was caused by a virus. They had no idea how it was spread. They had no idea how to prevent it, but they threw at it all the traditional measures of things that were good against things like cholera or dysentery, for example. So they expended several million gallons of water a day physically scrubbing the pavements in New York City.
What are people doing right now? Scrubbing everything, because they're convinced there's some virus lurking on the surface. A virus is lurking on food. A virus is lurking in the air. A virus is lurking. A virus is lurking on you, my friend, and a virus is lurking on me. In fact, the virus might be lurking on my voice patterns as they go across the internet into your home. Actually, that's the greater truth of the matter. It's the words and the images that creates the virus, that creates the fear, that causes people to do stupid stuff like scrub everything in sight.
Now that didn't do much good. Then they thought it might be flies, so they had anti-fly measures in place all the way across the state, and that did no good at all. They thought it might be Italian immigrants who'd come in from Europe. They sort of ignored the fact that to get into the US you actually had to have a very...
Blame a certain segment of ethnicity. In our case, China. is being blamed. It's all propaganda. It's not true.
Clear bill of health at that time, and they also ignored the fact later that the hit rate of polio in New York City was actually higher among the wealthy of Brooklyn than among the poor Italian immigrants in their ghetto. Then they thought it might be cats, and the rumour went out that if you killed a cat, that was a good thing and you would get a bounty of $1. So they went on the rampage, and during the month of July, 70,000 cats in New York City bit the dust. And then,
all right, those of you that love animals, those of you that love cats, you can see that a hoax gets people to do stupid stuff, and sometimes the stupid stuff involves a great deal of hurt. So let's imagine you had a cat and somebody thought they were doing good, so they killed your cat.
It was revealed that the stuff about the $1 bounty was all a terrible rumour, but by then people had quite got the taste for shooting cats, so they carried on doing it anyway. So a lot of cats met their end, and of course that had no impact on the disease either. So at the end of this, you've got a disease which, to the perception of America, has come from nowhere.
It's come from nowhere. The disease essentially has come from nowhere. Hey, I've got a song for you. It's a real nowhere land. Coming into the nowhere man, making all his plans for everybody.
A few small outbreaks before, but they'd sort of fizzled away. But now you've got something which actually crippled the city, the major city in the US. The public health authorities have thrown everything that they knew at it, and they've failed to contain it. And this was a disease that was the cause of panic. Every year, as the polio season arrived in late spring, early summer, the wealthy of American cities would desert the cities in their droves, and they'd head to the hills or down to the beach, where they thought they'd be safe from the virus.
But to add to that particular line of hoaxing, later on the public is going to learn after Second World War that FDR had polio. And basically he was crippled. Not true. Not true. But it was to give credence or give credibility to the idea of polio virus crippling people. Now once again, if anybody did get crippled, it wasn't something that they had previously. It would be because they submitted to the lies and got some form of injection or some form of oral vaccine.
And the hallmark of this virus, again, is that it could drop into any household, no matter how clean, no matter how hygienic, without warning, and carry off one of your kids.
Okay, so there's your spreading of fear. Nothing spreads like fear. And the one who's giving the lecture is spreading fear. So go to the one who can cast out all fear. Because the Holy Word says, perfect love casteth out fear. Jesus Christ can cast out the spirit of fear from your life, and you can live free of fear. I'd like to thank you for watching. This is the end of the video.
It wasn't